Welcome to B Sports Picks. So basically, the last couple of days, I've been giving away free picks, and we were on a massive run. The entire last month was great, January, and then half of February has also been good. But then after the NBA All-Star break, there's been like 4 losses in the free picks. But the overall picture is bigger than this. It's not just about the free picks. It's the overall picture has been consistent. I'm gonna say I made a big mistake. I always like to analyze why I feel like I've been losing. And my overall picture is that I have not been losing. It's more like the fact that I have a bigger following now. And I feel like, okay, I've given away 4 losers in a row in the free picks. And that's why I feel this pressure. But in my overall picture, I took a step back and I said, my VIP stuff is hitting. Yesterday was actually the first loss in the red that I've had in a long time. So the overall picture is the free picks are losing, but the overall picture is winning. Not only that, but I made a huge mistake where I created a bunch of new tools, and I'm going to show you the tools at the same time that the NBA was coming off of NBA break. So I started trying to do too many things at once, and I was actually replacing my core insights with the new system. Anyways, that's my spiel here. So what's up, man? The Guru King, sports betting, rocking with y'all from Louisiana. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. Yeah, I hit 2 days straight from you. So again, man, and the VIP has been solid. The free picks have been shitty for the last couple of days. But again, it's because I feel like it's because I switched to I have a lot of automations, and I have a shitload of information, and I've been actually pushing to automate everything. And that's a mistake because I had a solid system and I try to automate it, and it's actually working. It's automating, but it's not giving me the same results. So the line move tool right here, it started at a 222 and now it's at a 218. So there's a 4-point line move. Let me start writing some notes here so I don't forget, because it's a little more confusing when I'm live and I don't want to forget what I'm talking about. So Magic and Suns under, and then we have that one looking decent because it's 88% of the bets, 86% of the money, and the line is shifting down. So that's a reverse line move. This one is heavy as hell. You got the 223 and it's went to a 213. So that's actually a 10-point line move on the Rockets and the Knicks. And I can almost assure you, without even looking at it, that it's probably going to be an injury situation or a back-to-back situation. So this dropped 10 points. This one is massive. Let me see if this is part of my notes for today. So there it is. I'm looking. The first play I'm going to be looking at is the Magic and the Suns under 222, and then the 76ers and the Pelicans on the under, the Rockets and the Knicks. There it is, and then the Pistons on the spread against the Bulls. So let me keep going here. We got the Kings and the Spurs. You can see the Spurs. I know that the Kings have a bunch of injuries, including Levine now, so he's hurting. That whole team is hurt. So let me take a look at here. The Spurs, that's a huge spread, though. I don't think they're going to cover that spread, but we'll see. 14.5, and that's a 4-point line move. And then we have that's about it. So those are the heavy line moves. Now let me get into the details now of these games. So now let me just show you the line moves for college real quick. This is a 0, so don't count that one. This one moved 4 points, and then this one moved 3 points. So that's not enough for me to take a glance at college, because college should be a lot bigger than that. All right. Now, once I get into this, let me see. How do I get into the VIP? There's a link in the description that says Beast Sports Picks, and then you have 3 different options right there. All right. Let me just show you very quickly here. Look at all these games. These are all projections. For today, for college, there's 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to count them all, but look at this thing. It just scrolls and scrolls and scrolls all the way down. And these are all the projections for today. So there's literally over 100 games today for college. Okay, let me go back up. So I'm not going to go through. I don't think I'm going to go through the entire slate there unless you want me to take a look at it. But let me go into the NBA now, and I'll go through the 4 games that I'm looking at. All right, here we go. So Pelicans are on a back-to-back. Philly is on a 1-day rest advantage. Philly did come up for me to take a look at them, but it doesn't make sense because there's a lot of injuries. Both of these teams are on a back-to-back, Memphis and Miami. So this is an even trend as far as the back-to-back goes. So they're both tired. The situation here doesn't help one or the other. So what you want to do in these cases, whenever they're both tired and they're both playing again, you want to look on the under. It just makes sense. Okay, so let's see here. Magic is supposed to win this by 2. Pelicans and 76ers, you can see it's already a break even there. Or, they do have a one-day rest advantage, but there's nothing really there. Then you got Grizzlies and the Heat. Did they play today? This is weird. Okay, that makes sense. So it does say that they both played yesterday, and the Heat are supposed to win by 10. Pistons are supposed to win by 10. Spurs are supposed to win by 20. And like I just said, the line does show that it went from 14.5 to a 17.5. And then we have the Knicks supposed to win by 2. So let's take a closer look at these 3 games that I like, or actually 4 games. And then I might pick some stuff here right on the live. So let's see. Magic and the Suns. So it says the line did start on the Suns side 1.5. It went to 2.5. So the line is shifting in the Phoenix favor. The line also went from a 222 to a 218. So it did drop 4 points. So what I'm looking at here is the under. So let's take a look at 222 to 218. So that dropped 4 points. Then we have Magic is supposed to, they cover spreads here. Then we got the under, 65% on the under. So that's still favoring the under. Orlando's supposed to win this 54% chance. Let me see the injury report. So you can see here they got a bunch of injuries, especially with Wagner being out and then Booker being out. So that, and Grayson Allen, Cole Anthony. So the big ones here are Booker, Allen, and Wagner. So that's 3 different shooters that are going to be out. Let's see. Phoenix is missing Booker, Wagner. So Magic is missing Wagner. So that's a confirmed 5 players that are out. 86% of them are going on the over anyway. So that's a reverse line move, 4 points, like I mentioned, 222. What else? So the sharp money is coming down. So this one's actually, I like this one. I'm going to take this one. I don't know exactly what number I'm taking. If you want my final plays, go to the VIP. But I am definitely looking at the Suns versus Magic on the under. So the next game I'm looking at here is 76ers and the Pelicans on the under 232. I'm not going to take that number. I'm just letting you know that's what the current line is. So here it is. Let me take a look here. So if we do the math here, 116 and 116, that's 232. That's right. This is the projected score. So that is exactly where the line is, or right below it. So 232 is the opening. It's currently 233. So I made a mistake there. Opening is 233 and it's currently 233, even though the projections are showing 232. So I don't like to see that. I actually like to see where the projections are showing lower than the number, but it is what it is. Let's keep going. You can see this is pretty even against the spreads. So we're not looking at the spreads. We're looking at the over-unders. This is a pretty split game overall. Let me look at the injury report. You got Joel Embiid and Paul George. They're both out, so that's huge. That's a massive reduction. That's why it doesn't make sense that the 76ers came up for them to win earlier today. I immediately took it off the board because of these injuries. So all these guys are questionable, especially the one that's big is Murray, Missy, and Murphy. I said this yesterday. Not only that, but they're on a back-to-back. So there's a bunch of injuries. They're on a back-to-back. The line is stuck there. But again, here's another thing too. The sharps are all over this. The thing is, there's so many games in college that a lot of the stuff gets distracted. Just be aware of that. There's only 6 games in the NBA. So taking all that into consideration, I don't really care too much that the line isn't shifting downward. This goes a full breakdown. I've already done all this research, but this gives you a full breakdown of everything in these games. If you want access to this tool right here, by the way, SharpEdge, you can get it for 2 weeks for free. I'm going to raise the price to $50 a month because I'm adding so much value. I'll show you how much value is in this tool. And this is actually one of the reasons I feel like I've kind of got distracted a little bit because I've been building out so much shit over here. So anyways, let me keep going with this. 76ers Pelicans is looking strong on the under. The only real situation I don't like I said, is that the line is stuck at a 233. Let me confirm that's the case still. Let's see if it hasn't moved. I'll start answering some questions if you guys have them. If Trey Murphy plays, does the total can really run over? Yeah, that's the other reason. And the other thing too is that they're not confirmed out, and not only are they not confirmed out, the line is not shifting. So I might stay away from this one. I love the live. Thanks you, bro. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. So I think I'm going to skip this one unless I can verify that Trey Murphy and all those guys are out. So let's see. Yeah, so this is actually wrong. The line is at 232. It's not at 233. So the line did shift down 1 point. This just hasn't been updated. This only updates once an hour. And this other live stuff gets updated like every second. So anyways, this did drop 1 point. I don't like it. I don't like this play. The projections doesn't make sense. The only thing I would say if you want to go with this under is pay attention to the injuries. If these guys are out, this line is going to drop. So if this guy gets ruled out, it's going to drop for sure. If this guy gets ruled out, it's going to drop. And then these guys, I don't think it's going to matter too much. But the big ones are Murray and Murphy. All right. So I'm going to skip this one. I'm not taking it. I was looking on the under, but I don't like it. I'm not going to take it. Let's keep going. What's the next one? Let me know if you have any questions. I can take a look at other games if you want also. The next one I'm looking at is the Rockets and the Knicks. This one is actually looking very strong. Let me go back to the line move tool so you can see. The line started at 235 and went down to a 213. So this dropped 10 points already. So this is a nuclear play going on the under already. Let's take a look here. The total here is 230. Is that 230? 220. So the total here projected is 220. The current line is 223, and this is actually 213. So this is what I meant by the projections being under the opening. So the opening is at 233. The projections are at 220, and the line is even 7 points below the projections. So for that reason, I wouldn't take the 213 on the under. That's already too much of a move. And some people do say, some people do say that you should start looking on the over when the line drops that much. I don't agree with that. That's just some people are saying that in the comments and stuff, but it is what it is. So the Rockets are 109, Knicks are 111 projected. That's 220. Again, it dropped 10 points. The Knicks are supposed to cover right here, 70% chance. The Rockets don't cover spreads. You can see both of these are actually pretty strong on defense, 98%, 91%. So that helps the under. That is dramatic, actually. That's the reason this is dropping too, because these guys have A+ grade defense. So A+ defense. Okay, let's keep going. So I would say here, let me take a look at the notes now. So this is the best play on the card. 85% of the tickets are on the over. That's the other thing is the reverse line move. You can see 90% of the bets, 94% of the money is coming in on the over. The line is dropping 10 points. That's dramatic. For this much money coming in, it is dramatic for it to drop. So A+ defense, like I said, this is one of the best on the slate. Again, they're missing Van Vliet, so that's going to actually help the under also. Let's see what else. So in the last 3 games, Houston has averaged 203 combined points. The Knicks have been scoring well. Houston's defense is built to suffocate exactly the offense. So the public is latched onto it because, let's see. So this kind of offense gives out a lot of output. So that's why the public's all over the over. The public's latched onto that, but the sharps are seeing something different because the line is dropping so heavy. So this actually burned me the other day. This was like a Boston situation where Boston was dramatically, it dropped like 11 points and the public was all over the over and we took the under because the sharps were on the under. They ended up way over scoring, but this is not the case here because both of these guys have strong defense. So let me just kind of read a couple of more notes and then I think I'm going to take this one too. Let's see. Let me see if I see anything here. In the recent matchups, I'm just trying to see if okay, so the projected score is 226, which clears the 61%, 234 points per game. So you can see right there, the season average, the combined season average is 232, which is way higher than the 222. So I still like it because of the defense. It does say now this is saying the consensus is around 217. The line is still dropped before that. I'm going to take this. I'm going to definitely not pay for it at the current line. It wouldn't make sense. So I do like this one, but I'm going to probably take it back to the original line of 223 or 225 or something like that. So let me see. Let me write this down. I do like the Rockets and the Knicks and the under. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to look at here that I have notes for is the Pistons. Let's go back. They're going against the Bulls. The Bulls have been struggling after the trades. They're supposed to lose this game by 10 points. You can see right there. I'm going to look at the spread for the Pistons. So this is wrong. It's saying Chicago opened at a minus 10.5, but that's actually opposite. It's the Detroit. Because I made a bunch of updates, these line moves, they were reading the names wrong. So I have to update that. I'll fix that later. But the line is actually stuck at a 10.5. Let me confirm that. Let me see. Let me go back to the spreads. It actually opened at a 7.5 and it went to a 10.5. So the line did shift 3 points in Detroit's favor. Okay. Guys, please press the like button. Give him the support he deserves. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Can you explain what straight picks package? It sounds interesting. So straight picks, all it is that there's no parlays in there. That's all it is. So if I really like something, if I really do like something, it's going to be a straight pick. Okay. So there is no parlays in the straight picks package. So for example, I'm going to give you an example. If I really liked Detroit and I liked it alone with no parlay or nothing, I would throw this into the straight picks. It would be Pistons. Don't take this. I'm just telling you as an example. If I really like this, I would say Pistons at a minus 7.5 as a straight pick. That's all it is. No parlays in that package. All right. Under 226 is minus 250. I need another piece parlay, possibly Hero, 15 points. I don't like Hero because they're on a back-to-back. He did come up as a parlay piece, actually, but I don't like it because they're on a back-to-back. I did have Harrison Barnes that I'm looking at, but there was a couple of things I wanted to note. So here's Harrison Barnes. If you go to power forward, you can see that the points allowed is – so there's a very weak defense against this guy. If you go to the last 20, you can see he started doing better in the last 10, but he was not averaging that much. I don't know. I'm not going to get into all the details, but you would have to look at the injury report, when they played against each other and stuff like that. The head-to-head trends look decent. The overall picture for 2025 has been great. So I bought it back to the over 9.5 on the points, rebounds, and assists. I have not paid for it yet, but this is something that I'm looking at. So if you wanted to do that, or take a look at the under that I just talked about, which was the Suns and the Magic, or look at the Spurs. They're supposed to win this by almost 20 points. So you might want to buy that back to the original line or something like that. I don't know. Take a look at that. I'm giving you a bunch of different options there. I was just answering this question here. So anyway, I don't like Hero just because he did come up, but I don't like it because they're on a back-to-back. Let me get back to the Pistons. They started at a minus 7.5, currently at a 10.5. The Pistons do cover spreads 60% of the time, especially against the Bulls. They've covered it 60% of the time. You can see how much of a mismatch this is. This is a A-grade team versus like a D-grade team. Detroit has an 85% chance to hit. Let's take a look at the injuries. The Bulls do have a bunch of injuries there. Pistons are missing Stewart. This guy's questionable, so that doesn't really affect them. And like I said, the Bulls are in a building rebuild phase. Let me get back into the original. Let's see if they're on a back-to-back. They're not. So they're not on a back-to-back. Usually they would have the tag here, so I wanted to just make sure. So I do like the Pistons, actually. I might take them back to the original line. Let me see what other notes I have for this. Detroit is number 1 seed in the East. 41-13 is their record. Chicago is 24-32. They're on a free fall. They're 1-9 against the spread in the last 10. It does show here. They've lost. They do not even cover the spreads. You can see how bad they are. 90% on the loss as far as the spread goes. So they're not even covering spreads 90% of the time. I like it, say less. I got so much other information here I don't have to go into it. I'm going to take the Pistons at a minus 7.5, or I'm going to buy it back to the original money line. Again, if you want the final picks, I'm going to put it in the VIP, so check those out. I really like all three of these so far. I like the Suns, the Magic on the under, the Rockets, the Knicks on the under, and the Pistons so far. I do know exactly what line I'm taking yet. The Rockets and the Knicks, you might want to hit that pretty soon because the line dropped already like 11 points. And then the Pistons on the spread, I like those. I also like Harrison Barnes over here to hit his PRA at a 9.5. I like that a lot, actually. All right, let me go back. Go back in the dashboard here. All right, let me know what game you guys want me to look at. I'll take a look at it. Maybe 1 or 2 games in here. There's a lot of stuff here. This is overwhelming. But let me just jump into this any random. Let me see if one of the ones that stand out. Let's see. Right here. Let's see. Murray. So right away, look at this. Projected score. Murray is supposed to win by 16. Purple Aces are 20% on the money line. And then you got a great team over here, except for defense is weak. But this is a strong overall thing with the offense. The defense is weak. 90% chance to win. They have a bunch of team statistics over here I'm not going to get into. Points per game is 83 versus 65. That's a, 18-point difference. Turnbull is over here. He's I don't know how strong that is or not, but good to have that information. So just some random stuff. You see how this tool is so good is there's going to be more stuff in here, but since there's over 100 games, usually it does show a bigger, it does show this information here. Let me show you this deeper research, but because there was over 100 games, this was going to take over an hour to do for 100 games. So I just stopped it because it was going to take so many tokens to do. So let's take a look at Michigan. Western Michigan or Eastern Michigan, which one? Central Michigan, Michigan Wolverines. I'm assuming that's what it is. 76 is the projected. 80% chance for the Wolverines. Let's see. Covering spreads, they're 83%. The Devils are -1. Where's the line move? There should be a section that says line move, but I don't see it. So again, because there's over 100 games, there's a lot of issues that were happening this morning. I have to figure that out. Expert picks are saying Michigan is the best bet. They do have a bunch of data here. So yeah, this is actually considered a best bet from expert picks. Yeah, if you want to take a look at that, go to the link in the description, click on where it says SharpEdge. It'll give you all this stuff. 2 weeks for free on that one. Michigan does look good though. All right. It's 80 plus 76, so 156. Yeah, it's right around the same thing. All right, guys. I think I went on long enough. I think I've been on for about 45 minutes. So let me just kind of recap what I talked about, and then we'll be done. I do like the Suns and the Magic on the under. I don't know exactly how I'm going to play it. I'm going to go look at the odds. I'm going to take the Rockets and the Knicks on the under. I'm going to take the Pistons on the spread, and I'm skipping the Pelicans. All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you all. We've crossed 4,300 subscribers. I think we're about to cross 4,400. Let's get to 5,000. That's my goal for the end of this month. I really appreciate you all. Let's have a great day. Thank you.